Do you ever feel empty? Not sad, not angry, just nothing. Like something is missing, but you can't explain what it is. Your life looks normal from the outside. You go through your day, talk to people, maybe even smile. But inside, there's silence. A strange kind of silence that feels heavy. You try to distract yourself. You scroll. You watch. You listen. But the feeling stays. And the more you try to understand it, the more confusing it becomes. Because how do you explain something that doesn't even feel like an emotion? This is what emotional emptiness feels like. It's not pain. It's the absence of feeling. And sometimes, that can feel even worse. Because when you're sad, you know why. When you're angry, you know what caused it. But when you feel empty, there's no clear reason. No clear answer. Just a quiet space inside you that refuses to fill. You start questioning yourself. Why don't I feel anything? Why does everything feel pointless? Is something wrong with me? And slowly, you begin to disconnect. Not just from people, but from yourself. You stop reacting the way you used to. Things that once mattered don't affect you anymore. It's like you're present in your own life, but not really living it. And the worst part? No one else can see it. From the outside, everything looks fine. But inside, you feel completely empty. This feeling doesn't come out of nowhere. Emptiness is often your mind's way of protecting you. When you go through too much, too many thoughts, too many emotions, your brain gets overwhelmed. And instead of continuing to feel everything, it shuts things down. It creates distance between you and your emotions. At first, this might seem helpful, because you stop feeling pain. You stop overreacting. You stop getting hurt as easily. But over time, you also stop feeling the good things. Happiness feels weaker. Excitement fades. Even connection feels distant. It's like your mind has turned the volume down on everything. This often happens to people who overthink a lot. People who constantly analyze situations. Who replay moments in their head. Who try to understand everything deeply. Because when your mind never rests, it eventually gets tired. And when it gets too tired, it stops responding. Another reason for this emptiness is suppressed emotion. Sometimes, instead of dealing with what you feel, you ignore it. You push it away. You tell yourself, it's not a big deal. But emotions don't disappear. They stay hidden. And over time, they build up until your mind decides it's easier to feel nothing than to feel everything at once. And that's when emptiness begins. The hardest part about feeling empty is that it's invisible. People don't notice it. Because you don't look broken. You still function. You still talk. You still show up. But inside, something feels missing. You might laugh in a moment, but it doesn't feel real. You might be surrounded by people, but still feel alone. It's a strange kind of disconnection. You're there, but not fully there. And this creates confusion. Because you don't understand yourself anymore. You start asking questions like, why don't I feel happy? Why does everything feel dull? Why do I feel so far from everything? And the more you think about it, the deeper the emptiness feels. It's like trying to fill a space without knowing what belongs in it. Some people try to escape it. They distract themselves constantly. Others isolate themselves even more. But neither truly solves it. Because emptiness is not something you can run from. It's something you have to understand. And here's the truth most people don't realize. Feeling empty doesn't mean you are broken. It means something inside you is disconnected. Something that needs attention. Something that hasn't been fully processed. Your mind is not failing you. It's trying to cope in the only way it knows how. So what do you do when you feel empty? The first instinct is to fix it. To force yourself to feel something again. to push yourself into happiness, to pretend everything is okay. But that doesn't work, because emptiness is not something you can fight directly. The more you try to escape it, the more it stays. So instead of running away from it, you need to face it. Not with pressure, not with frustration, but with awareness. Start by simply noticing it. Don't label it as good or bad. Don't judge yourself for feeling this way. Just acknowledge it. This is how I feel right now. That alone is a powerful step, because most people never even pause long enough to truly notice what's happening inside them. Then slowly, start asking yourself questions. Not aggressive questions. Not questions that demand instant answers, but gentle ones. What am I feeling beneath this emptiness? What have I been avoiding? When did this start? At first, you might not get clear answers, and that's okay, because this process is not about quick solutions. It's about understanding. Sometimes, emptiness hides deeper emotions. Pain that was never expressed. Stress that was never released. Thoughts that were never processed. And instead of dealing with all of it, your mind chose silence. So now, you need to slowly reconnect. Not by forcing big changes, but by starting small. Very small. Take a moment in your day where you are not distracted. No phone. No noise. No escape. Just you and your thoughts. It might feel uncomfortable at first. That's normal, because you're finally sitting with something you've been avoiding. But stay there, even if it's just for a few minutes. Then begin to reconnect with simple experiences. A walk outside, feeling the air, noticing your surroundings, not trying to feel something special, just being present. Because emptiness often comes when you're disconnected from the present moment. You're either stuck in your thoughts or lost in distractions. So coming back to the present is how you slowly rebuild that connection. And understand this clearly, you don't need to fix your entire life. You don't need to suddenly become happy. You just need to take one small step toward yourself, again and again. And over time, those small steps begin to add up. You start noticing little changes. A moment where you feel something. A moment where things don't feel as heavy. And slowly, that silence inside you begins to change. It doesn't disappear instantly, but it softens. It becomes less overwhelming. And eventually, it starts to fade. Because emptiness was never permanent. It was just a signal. A signal that something inside you needed attention, needed care, needed to be understood. And now, you're finally listening. And that changes everything. Because once you reconnect with yourself, even a little, you realize something important. You were never truly empty. You were just disconnected for a while. And now, you're finding your way back.